Coming to you from Veterans Memorial Stadium, perfect game field here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and we ended the night in extra innings. The final score of our final game, Birmingham Southern walking off with a 4-3 win in 10 innings against Johns Hopkins. I'm Pat Coleman at D3Baseball.com. Jim Dixon alongside, as always, here for another daily wrap-up in a day that a lot of emotion, a couple of great comebacks, a couple of walk-off victories.
We actually, for the first time in a long time, had a second game start on time. I was amazed.
It was a great day. We're going to start with, of course, it was elimination day, as Saturday is at the Division III Baseball Championships, and we're going to start with the first elimination game of the day, in which Washington and Jefferson defeated Webster by the score of 3-2. A game, Jim, in which W&J kind of jumped out early. They got their 3 runs in the first 2 innings, and for that matter, Webster got its 2 runs in the first 2 innings as well.
Yes, I was looking at this. They kept putting up goose eggs towards the end, and the thing that made a difference was an error early in the game.
Yeah, it indeed helped them out. Nick Drake, the Washington and Jefferson starting pitcher, kind of scuffled early on in the game, gave up those couple of runs in the second, but just kind of battled and gutted his way through 5 1/3 innings. He picked up the win to improve to 5-2. I really want to give kudos to Webster's Shane Donovan out of the bullpen. 4 innings of a 1-hit scoreless relief, which gave Webster the chance to be in that game all the way up until the end.
Yes, and the thing I liked was the way they sat there and used the seldom used play, but they run in practice all the time. They went there and got the double steal, and it worked out in their favor.
It sure did. Great game. Washington and Jefferson stays alive. They will play here on a Sunday, and Webster goes home as 37-13 to end the season. The other elimination game was our 3rd game of the day, and it was a fantastic one. It was a walk-off win for Babson as they defeated Heidelberg by the score of 6-5. Jim, for so much of this game, it looked like this was going to be the game where it was going to be defined by Robbie Hunt's diving, full-out, Jim Edmonds-style center field dive and grab.
I'm not so sure I've seen a better catch in all of baseball, not just Division III.
I don't know if you did the count or somebody from the NCAA did, but that he took 14 strides at full speed. I know we don't have the advanced MLB metrics crew. Dave McHugh, I'm looking at you. We need to get you out here to the Division III World Series to do some of those advanced metrics, but what a fantastic play. However, and Heidelberg tacked on 2 insurance runs in the top half of the 9th inning to go up 5-1 going into the bottom half with its closer on the mound, and man, Joey Wenning just did not have it today.
He did not. A lot of walks, a lot of free bases. You could tell that Babson was really keyed in because the first batter up got a triple and just 1 easy run.
Yeah, Eric Johns started it off with that triple. They ended up batting around to score those 5 runs, and it finished off, first off, with Sean Harrington drawing a bases-loaded walk, a much contested bases-loaded walk, not very popular. Couple of ball calls at the end of that at bat. Saw Heidelberg fans who had to be restrained from approaching the screen behind home plate, giving the home plate umpire the business. And then they finally take Wenning out, and they bring in Tristan Phillips. Tristan Phillips is a left-handed reliever, and when Jake Olliger saw that, that was all he needed, it seemed.
Yes, he hits left-hander as well. And once he saw that, he said, now I know what I'm going to do. And he was able to hit a low slider out into the outfield, and the celebrations came.
Yeah, that was a bases-loaded hit. It brought in 2 runs. Just a fantastic way for that game to finish. And Babson, having been walked off or having lost in dramatic fashion on Friday, came back and turned the trick.
Yes, and Ollinger did this in the regionals when they walked off with a grand slam against MIT. But when he talked about which one was better, he says, this is the big stage, the World Series, baby.
It is. Vatcher on in relief with the final 1/3 of an inning in the top half of the 9th for Babson. He got the win. He improves to 2-0. Wenning, the closer, gets the loss. He falls to 0-2. Of course, Heidelberg has eliminated their season done at 35-15, while Babson survives to play on Sunday. Now let's talk about the winners bracket games. The people who win these games are then kind of sitting pretty while everybody else has to eliminate each other to get back to them. And we start with Mass Boston defeating Chapman by the score of 10-6. Mass Boston, jumped out really early, 5 runs in the second, 3 more in the third. A big hit by Boudrias with a big double to kind of cap that 5-run rally. And then, things just kind of hung out at 9-2, then 9-3 for quite some time, and Chapman was able to come back into it.
It's Tyler Peck didn't have his stuff today.
Yeah.
He pitched a couple innings, and when they started getting to the bullpen, they found some pitchers who can actually get guys out, and they sort of kept the hold. And Mass Boston stopped scoring runs.
Yeah, if you looked at the Chapman box score and you're relatively familiar with Chapman and you don't recognize Austin Merrill and you don't recognize Mitchell Briggs and Kyle Joy, who all came on and combined for 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief here this afternoon, that's because they just haven't pitched so much. They've had such great pitching that they haven't needed to go to some of these back of the bullpen guys. And, they really saved that bullpen for what they're going to need. If they're going to play 2 games on Sunday, they're going to need relievers.
Yeah, and they put a couple runs on, and they forced Mass Boston to go to their closer.
That is true, yeah. It was indeed Bobby Travandosi who came on at the end to get the final out and eliminate the drama, but Chapman had scored twice in the top half of the 9th and had the tying run in the on-deck circle. Jose Lopez with a big day and a safety squeeze along with a couple of other RBIs, 3 RBIs on the afternoon, and Eddie Riley 3 for 5 with a pair of runs batted in as well. So Mass Boston sitting pretty, and Chapman has to come back. We'll tell you in a little bit how that will all work out, because we have one more game, the game that they were celebrating as we started this off, and it was a game in which Johns Hopkins jumped out early. They scored 2 runs in the first. Chris Festa with a massive home run to right field, and then a single and a double follow. They went up 2-0. They went up 3-1, and it was 3-1 for quite some time. And it seemed, though, even though it was a close game, Johns Hopkins was in control, but Birmingham Southern not going away.
No, and this is a team in Birmingham Southern that's going to continue to sit there. They're going to fight. They're going to try to sit there and score those runs. And you need to score more than 3 runs if you want to put down the Panthers.
Indeed. Let's just talk about the 9th inning for a second, because that is where, things got awesome. Things got awesome. I'm going to say awesome. That's what I said. Preston Betts comes on in relief for Johns Hopkins. He makes an amazing pickoff and picks off a Birmingham Southern guy off of second base. Obviously, that's a runner who was in scoring position in the bottom half of the 9th inning. I've kind of missed the top half of the 9th, in which Mistishia comes out of left field, comes into pitch. Oakley Starling comes in to play left field, and like the very next batter, he makes an amazing diving catch down the left field line in foul territory you're not in foul territory. We couldn't tell from here to end that inning and send them into extras. Yeah,
there's not a lot of room down there, as you can tell, and he was able to catch it and slide. I was a little worried for a minute he might have hit the wall, but he did the job, and that's what he was supposed to do.
And then Birmingham Southern comes up and forces Johns Hopkins to do some things defensively that you don't really love to do. They brought in the infield, then they brought in an extra infielder, 5 infielders, and the guy playing generally at the shortstop position almost gets exactly what you need. He gets a relatively hard hit ground ball right at him with the bases loaded with 1 out. He throws to the plate, throws it a little bit low, catcher unable to handle it, E6, and it ends the game.
And then, yeah, exactly, because now Birmingham Southern is sitting in the championship bracket game, and they're just going to wait tomorrow to see who they have to play.
So that's what you will see tomorrow. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We'll run through tomorrow's games. But before we do that, we want to talk about the Rally Fish. Actually, we're just going to let Mass Boston's coach, Brendan Igabro, talk about the Rally Fish. Yes, Rally Fish.
So the fish is Barry. He's an African, I think they said cichlid. He was purchased today at a local store, and it was basically for more offense. We felt like we haven't been swinging it as well as we can. So the Rally Fish was to get the sticks going. Every time we scored, he got a little sprinkle. So the fish, was eating a lot early in the game. And then we put him on a diet late. We don't want him getting too big. But he definitely, brought some good momentum to the dugout today.
It's only crazy if it works, or if it doesn't work.
Right. Is Rally Fish a new thing for you, or has the Rally Fish been a thing?
No, the Rally Fish is new as of today. So it's a Cedar Rapids local, and we're from Africa, I guess. But he was happy to jump on board today, and hopefully we can keep him alive.
we've seen lots of things here. Obviously, we've seen stuffed monkeys. We've seen guys in sombrero hats. We've seen, the alien making its reappearance this year. Rally fish seems to be new.
I think rally fish is a new thing, and I'm kind of mystified. I thought Mass Boston was playing well, but
Yeah.
apparently they need to have another member of the team.
Yeah, so Rally Fish helping them to that 10-6 win against Chapman. Now here's the lineup for Sunday. If you tune in, you're going to start once again at 10 a.m. If you're tuning in as a Chapman fan, we feel your pain. It's 8 a.m. Pacific time when every one of their games has started, and it starts again on Sunday with an elimination game between Chapman and Washington and Jefferson. That's a rematch of a game that took place on Friday in the first round. This will take place with slightly fewer pitchers. Winner of that game goes on to face UMass Boston, and if they beat UMass Boston, then they come back on Monday and have to do it again. Well, we'll deal with Monday later. Babson in the other elimination game, they will face Johns Hopkins. It's Babson against Johns Hopkins at what is scheduled for 1:15, and then the winner of that game comes back later to face the winner of our final game tonight. That's Birmingham Southern. So that is another situation where they will have to beat Birmingham Southern twice, whoever wins that 1:15 game, and one of those games might be on Monday. And then after that, we can talk about a best-of-3 championship series.
We still don't know who's going to be there, but certainly it looks like it might be Birmingham Southern playing UMass Boston.
It could be. Those are the two teams that are sitting 2-0 in this bracket right now. For Jim Dixon, I'm Pat Coleman. Thanks to everybody here at D3Baseball.com, our friends at D3Photography.com, and the folks at Cedar Rapids here at the Division III World Series. We'll be back with more on Sunday.